All right, so we're going to be talking about Matt Hansen, the alleged art director of Avowed, and his role in all of this, and kind of what he thinks about art in games and games in general, because he is clearly not on the side of making fun games that people enjoy and make the studio money. He's certainly against that. He has his own motives. He has his own mentality about this whole thing, and it's certainly not in favor of good games and fun, interesting, and artistic expressions in gaming. So we're going to jump into that. We're also going to talk about a couple of posts on Steam community that have some discussions around them about the future of this game, and I think they perfectly capture the sentiment of gamers in respect to Avowed and all of these AAA games that are not putting gamers first. And also, we're going to lastly put a closer eye on his art. And, I found his website, and we're going to kind of critique his art and kind of make some associations between that and what we're seeing in Avowed to kind of figure out what the game is actually going to look like and why the art style is the way it is, because there's some associations to be made there too. So without further ado, let's just jump right into it. Got this article from That Park Place. Avowed art director exposed by Elon Musk for alleged racist and illegal hiring practices. Musk, it won't end well for him, and clearly it won't. I don't want to really go too far into this article in terms of, Musk and Grums and all that back and forth and everything. I just wanted to outline a couple of things that Matt Hansen himself had posted that they quoted here, just to kind of give some perspective on his mentality. So right here is the first one I wanted to quote. I wanted so badly to make him mad with my game, and this is speaking about Elon Musk, and I can't believe it actually worked, Hansen said on his Blue Sky, of course, account, which you can only see if you're logged into the service. Just wait until you see the default you said, little something. And so he's basically saying, oh, I'm so happy that my posts and my art, my stuff is pissing off Elon Musk because that's my main thing. And then he went on further. It's honestly deeply surreal to have the world's richest S-boy whine about something that I am making. He said, basking in his moment, I'm quite frankly giddy. I cannot think of a single person in the world I would rather irritate. It didn't take long for the internet to start digging into the art director's past statements, and soon YouTuber Asmongold found something incriminating. So we're just kind of scrolling through here. And then this is the infamous statement reminder to black artists out there who are looking for portfolio reviews or job advice. My DMs are open and will always have priority. The uncovered Hansen quote said, we got too many crusty white dudes in this field. Please let me help you replace me one day. I want to go back to living in the woods. You're going to be living in the woods. You're going to be living in a van down the river, I think. But so far, not yet. But we're going to get into that as well from those community posts. But it does seem like he's more interested in angering what he perceives to be right-wingers than he is interested in making good art for fun games or anything to that respect. And, that's just a couple of his posts in this article alone. And it's just, he doesn't seem interested in any of the things that he's doing in the game itself, in gaming in general. He's just looking to push his political opinions onto the industry. And he's not alone, apparently, in this Avowed team, at the very least in the Avowed team, if not Obsidian at large, because I don't know if there's other teams in Obsidian, but certainly in the Avowed team here, it seems like he's not the only one that's pushing these perspectives and trying to sacrifice fun games for his activism. And so we're going to just talk a little bit about the future of this game and what it's going to look like and all of that. Like I said in my last video, really, this game is not going to do well, and it's not going to do well because it looks boring, and it's going to be very short, and for a AAA game to be of this caliber, people can see clearly that this is not up to muster. This is not going to be an interesting game to play. And then you add the activism on top of it. You add that wokeness aspect on top of it. People are sick of that too. So they're going to tune out even more, especially now that they see that the art director is saying these things online. That's just a clear red flag for most gamers to say, all right, well, they're pushing a political narrative, which means they're sacrificing fun games. which means this game's going to be no fun and we're not going to buy it. And that's basically what my perspective is. I think that nobody's going to buy this game because, first of all, it doesn't look interesting in the first place. Second of all, the rumor is that this game is very short, kind of like The Outer Worlds. It's a very short game. It's very compressed. It's not very expansive. And for a massive budget AAA game, which this is supposed to be at a AAA price tag, having that short of a game, it ain't gonna pass. It ain't gonna work. People are not gonna be interested in that. And then, obviously the politics sour people's perspective even more. And to that respect, here is the discussions that we're looking at. So this is from the community, Avowed posts under general discussions. And this post is, save your game, fire Matt Hansen, actions speak louder than words. Even if you were to come out and say he doesn't represent the company, it wouldn't make a difference. A company that hires loons rarely is a company that makes good games. If you want a chance of success, your only option now is to fire Hansen and correct his influence over the game. Now, a lot of discussion is down here, and you can read through this whole thing if you want. I'll link it in the description. But effectively, they're crying for the woke BS to be removed and get rid of all this mess, and then make a good game, basically. The only problem with that is that this is coming out in February. We are mere months away, and clearly Matt Hansen is not the only one that has had his influence on this game to sacrifice a fun game for political narrative. So he wouldn't be the only one you have to remove his influence on, and it's just, there's just not enough time to fix this game. They'd have to push this off a number of years, and then effectively, nearly double the budget to make those fixes. And then what's going to happen? Not enough people are still going to buy it. This game is done. At least that's my perspective. However, there are people out there that want to see this game saved. They want to see them correct course and see Oblivion become, what they used to be when they first started out. And they used to be, the spiritual successor to effectively Black Isle Studios. And they were great in the beginning, but that shifted very quickly. And apparently, based on Smash JT's, videos that he's put out, they changed dramatically when Microsoft acquired them, and everybody got, they cleaned house after that acquisition, and that's when things took a shift for the worse. But there was obviously changes happening even before that. But yeah, apparently the Microsoft acquisition really changed their perspective and changed this company for the worse. And then, the second post I wanted to talk about here is kind of the more realistic approach. Too little too late. Matt Hansen's firing is nothing but a token action. The damage has been done. Given Avowed is set to come out in February, any influence that your director had on the story and general progression of the game has already been done. It's why he waited until now to spout his racist views. Although Obsidian firing him was the right move, this game will already be rotten to the core due to it going through an entire development cycle under his fetid leadership. It's going to be woke trash. It's going to be nothing but propaganda. It's going to be constant ideology hammered into your skull like Dragon Age Veilguard was. If they are truly committed to correcting course, they will delay the game and rework it to make the game great again. But something tells me the firing of Matt Hansen isn't a rebuttal of his ideology, but rather an annoyance at him giving the game away too soon. This game identifies as non-binary, as B-U-Y-nary. So, yeah, I think that's a little harsher take than I would expect this game to be. But a lot of people are fed up with the woke stuff, and even the slightest hint of woke trash in the game, even in, a minority of the game, it's gonna turn them off to buying it in the first place. And so if they sense that in the waters, they're not gonna buy it. And that's not the entire target audience here, but there's a lot larger audience, at least in my perspective. There's a lot larger audience that simply sees the woke trash as a like an instigator of creating bad games. And so when they see that, they just know that it's going to be a bad game. And the more obvious thing is just seeing the gameplay footage, seeing the trailer, seeing what this game is advertised to be in the idealistic, perfect, trailer environment. That's like the best vision possible of the game. So if that doesn't look interesting, if that looks boring, if that looks useless, then the rest of the game is going to be worse than that, and they're not going to buy it. And, you know, people have a good sense of those things. So if they see a crappy trailer, if they see a crappy game that's, you know, made up to look as best as it can in the trailer, they're still going to sense that it's a crappy game and not buy it. And a lot of this, you know, non-binary behavior is a result of that, I think, more than the, well, we smell that it's going to be woke and we're not going to buy it. Because that's only a small segment of the gaming population. At least that's my experience. That's my suspicion, is that this is bigger than the anti-woke crowd makes it out to be. I think this is more of a grassroots thing than even that. I think it's more just gamers know what bad games look like. I mean, they've spent their entire lives playing games, and they know what a bad game looks like, and they can smell it a mile away, and they can just not buy that game. So I think that that's what's happening here more than anything. But clearly there is an anti-woke sentiment among gamers, a significant number of them. So, you know, that would be a smart thing to steer away from, but it seems like AAA is steering into it still. So it is what it is. Now, so the last thing I wanted to talk about, and I'm going to be quick with this, is I've got his art page up here, his art studio, as it were. So this is all the stuff that he's done, you know, art for Obsidian. You can see Pillars of Eternity stuff here. And honestly, I mean, it looks like he was just assigned to create items, inventory items, which makes sense. Because everything else in this, it just doesn't grab me, you know, it doesn't interest me. It just seems like very boring art to me. It doesn't interest me at all. It just looks like, you know, a mediocre artist made it. And so I'm going to just call this as it is. Matt Hansen is a mediocre artist at best. And just because his political opinions lined up with the people that hired him, that's why he's got this job. That's my assumption. Because none of this is interesting to me. None of this really tells me that his art is worth capturing the imagination. You know, I think it's very procedural. It's very simplistic. It's very like amateur almost. It's not. There's no action. There's no motion. There's no life in anything he's doing. And it's also, I don't know. It just seems, you know, like he's more of a politician than an artist. So he's a politician trying to pretend like he's an artist and trying to push his ideology onto people. So at least that's my suspicion. Now, obviously, he draws better than I do. I'm a terrible artist. I don't claim that I'm a better artist than Matt Hansen. I don't claim that I'm a better artist than probably most 5-year-olds. But, you know, I mean, at least I know that I'm not a good artist, not a good 2D artist. I can hold my own in 3D, but not 2D. So I have a decent eye for it, but I don't have the skill. But apparently he doesn't either. So, you know, it is what it is. I guess I could get hired at Obsidian for my level of artistic creativity, and you know, fill his shoes as the art director. I could totally do that. And I'm a terrible artist. So there you go. Anyway, that's what I got for you guys. Hope you enjoyed this video. Just a little bit of a different one, trying to dig into this whole Matt Hansen thing and kind of tell you guys what I've found so far. But yeah, let me know what you guys think of this. If you like these kind of videos, subscribe to the channel, and I will talk to you guys later.